5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening. Sloppy seconds time. And who would be better to have sloppy seconds with than Brad? I don't know. I'm only saying what Jess has told me. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye. Hello. Oh, twice. She's told me twice. Wherever you are in the world, one of those will apply to you. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you are well. If you fancy a rant, join in. If you'd even like to come on and join in with the ranting on camera for a quick couple of minutes, just ask me in the chat and I'll see what I can do for you. I just want to say before we do go any further, I don't know if you missed it earlier, the show that went out at 7 was a game of two halves. It was a conversation I did with Lynn, who is the co-chair of the Foxes Trust, who meet with the club and Susan, Miss Whelan herself. Yes, she does exist. She isn't just the Scarlet Pimpernel. She is an actual person. Have a watch. I learned a lot about that. 10 quid to join it and have a bit of a voice at meetings and what have you. They do a lot more than you think. 10 quid a year. It's less than a subscription to the Athletic, but probably it's not as cheap as probably cheaper than a subscription to My Fans. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to see Susan Whelan on My Fans. She probably wouldn't want to see me either. But it is City Chat. It is the rant show. It's me and Brad going off on one. You can join us if you want to. Do feel free. Let's get going. Indeed. Good evening, Brad. As I've put across the bottom there, this is an 18-plus show. It is after the watershed. If we say anything that offends you, go get a life. How are you doing, Brad?
Far better than I was at this time yesterday when we were already beaten by West Ham. I know there was apparently still another 45 minutes to go, but I didn't see any difference. I think we just played the first half over and over again and just failed to concede. So, yeah, I'm better than I was about 24 hours ago.
Good. Gray is in. He says it's rant time. It certainly is. Spencer says one word, pathetic. Jesse says, yes, I am watching. Hello. Hey, Jess. Lovely girl. Always like that, Jess, you know. Wonderful person. My rant is the team is come on, individual rants later, Gray. I have started that. Chaotic club, 11 losses out of 12. 11 losses out of 12.
Feels like we've had 129 losses. If you
Yes. Blue Fox is back. Hi, Chris and Brad. And I have just double checked. Yes, you can join the Foxes Trust from abroad. She did say yes. It's just a click away. That's all you need to do. It was in the show earlier. Club in turmoil, nobody gives a flying fuck. Chaotic club, 11 losses out of 12. 9 of those, here we go. You see, 9 of those games we didn't score. Players not interested. The manager has lost the plot, and the board totally ineffective. And Ray, rant on, lads. We continue to search for rock bottom. No fight, no passion. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it, Brad? And look, Lynn from the Foxes Trust, she's a fan. She wasn't pretending that it's anything other than it's not. As a fan, she thinks it's pathetic the way that we're playing as well. As a big supporter of the women's team, I did suggest that she might want to get a couple of the women's players in the men's team to show them what fight is. Look, the last time I felt like that, and I can't believe Ruud van Nistelrooy came out and said, we can do the Great Escape. No, we fucking can't, mate. Because your team and the way you've got them playing and playing for you is nothing like that team that played for Nigel Pearson.
No, because that team, Chris, showed fight, determination, and never gave up on the game. I mean, I remember one game in that fateful season, Chris, that lives long in the memories. It's and that was the game against Tottenham Hotspur. It was about 2 or 3 games before we turned it around. We was at White Hart Lane back then, not the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that they play at now. And I think we lost that game 4-3, but we never down tools, Chris. I would give anything. I'd give this is me. Well, Jess wouldn't like me saying that, but I'd give me left arm to see that sort of effort when we conceded 3 or 4 goals a game.
Saying nothing. Saying nothing. Better that in your right hand.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean, because you remember the game, Jeffrey Schlupp tried to clear it off the line and we ended up losing 4-3, and Nugent even went down the other end and scored in like the 90th minute to give us like 3 or 4 whatever minutes were added on to try and grab it. We didn't, but we kept going, we kept fighting. This team kind of went, West Ham are going to score. We're not going to score playing like this. Oh, there we go. Well, time of death, 21 minutes or 31 minutes or whatever it was when West Ham scored. And it's felt like that for weeks and weeks. And I'm beyond bored, Chris. You know, early in the season, even back when we had, Cooper in charge. I mean, I remember I went to London, me and Jess did. We went to go see an orchestra. Really good show it was. It was far better than what I was witnessing at the time. But we played Arsenal away from home. And we was kind of joking, well, at least we won't have to suffer as getting an absolute battering. And in that game, we went 2-0 down early doors. Arsenal had about 655 chances. And we was like, well, we're not missing out much. I was like, look, we're not missing out much. It's 2-0 Arsenal. We'll probably, time we go to get in the place, it'll be 6-0 Arsenal and there'll still be 10 minutes to go. And then we're walking around the natural, I think it's the Natural History Museum, and Justin scored. Hey, no, we're back in the game. At least we've got a goal, and we scored again. And then it took Arsenal till 92nd minute to beat us, Chris.
Yeah.
Where's that gone? That was a great escape chance. If we were doing that now, I'd back us to somehow find a way out of this. But these players, they're probably sat here going, oh, how many do you reckon West Ham going to... I reckon they're on the team bus, Chris, going, oh, do you reckon we can keep this below 3? Oh, I don't know. We'll give it a go. We're not going to attack, are we? It's not going to allow us to attack. Oh, I feel like that's what they ask.
Yeah. Can I... Look, I'm no good at predicting in the Football League, although my 2-0 to West Ham did at least get me 3 points. So
yeah, ironically, whatever the difference was between me and you from the weekend games has severely been cut down and levelled out now in this week because I've done a ball in.
Well, I mean, every cloud, as they say, has got a silver lining. But I've decided I'm actually quite good at predictions. Do you want to see a bit of magic?
Yeah, go on then.
I am going to show you, and it will scroll along the bottom, the team that we will play against Chelsea.
Go on then.
Are you ready? Maybe a few different starters, but that will be the team. Do you know how I know that?
Because it's all he fucking does.
Yes, this numbnut that is supposedly managing. Sorry, made myself laugh there when I said managing. This club, he has got no fucking idea, has he?
No, he hasn't, because if he had an idea, and look, I know I'm going to take us back to a time when we had a certain Welsh international in goal under the name Danny Ward, but we try not to speak his name here because it's completely cursed. Yeah. You might have said, all right, yeah, Wolves, Newcastle, they were more on him than anything because he filled the team with no confidence. Somebody who doesn't play in goal thought I was talking nonsense about that, even though I'm a goalkeeper and know that a goalkeeper commands confidence. I know, me, a former goalkeeper. Never mentioned before on this channel.
Get that to yourself.
I definitely do not bring up any opportunity to mention that. But yeah, look, you could have said, okay, let's see how we go now. Danny Ward's been pushed aside. Stolarczyk's in goal. I'm going to call it now. I think the worst thing he did was take Stolarczyk out of goal a few weeks ago. It's one of the worst things, apart from playing your love child Bobby Dakova-Reid every week for no apparent reason. Yeah, that's what you do. But that's your business, Chris. That's your business. The thing is, right, let's say he kind of let Brentford go because he'd only just got there, and he gave them if he said to them, I'm going to give you 7 games, right, play using the old regime and working on something different. The fact is, Chris, and I can tell you this from the training ground videos, nothing changed. It wasn't like we were seeing, oh, they're still doing that, but they seem to be working on something new. Normally, when you watch these training ground videos, you get an insight into, don't want to give anything away because the way footballing world is these days, the opposition might look at that and go, oh, Gaffer, they're trying something new. And, maybe, but they tend to give give us a little one of them, a little bit of a posh sprinkle of maybe we're working on something. And I've seen nothing. This is like an extended version of Tweedledee and Tweedledum that took over after we sacked Brendan. Because what did they do, Chris? It weren't that long ago. I'm sure you can remember it, even in your old age. Them two pivotal home games. When did we have that, Chris? Crystal Palace and Fulham rings a bell. But anyway, we had 2 pivotal home games after the Seal was sacked. What did his ingenious assistant do, Chris, for them 2 games?
Ooh, I'm just a wild stab in the dark here, and I could be way off here, but didn't you do exactly the same as Brendan have been doing?
Chris, you're on a roll tonight, my friend. Because just as you said, your psychicness in predicting the lineup and potential, at least bench and lineup are guaranteed almost, you're right again, Chris. You're spot on. Yeah, instead of using his own brain and having his own ideas and his own thoughts, he went, we're 17th or 18th in the Premier League. We're playing a way that's got us all the way down at 18th in the Premier League. I know what I'll do. I'll make sure the lads go out there and play exactly the same way that's kept us 18th in the Premier League and looks like keeping us in trouble. Why are we getting a season 2, 3 and 4 of this?
Yeah.
Because I just don't get it, Chris. What's he seeing?
Grace said here, this team is on par with Frank McClintock's mob, an absolute disgrace, and it's humiliating. But look, I want to come to Rude before we come on to the players. I get, we haven't got a match this weekend, and to be quite honest with you, I'm so glad because I couldn't be asked to do another watch along. I'm doing a watch along, and I am actually on that performance. We keep saying every week, is this the worst performance? And because you can't believe it can get any worse, but it seems to. But how is it? How are we expecting anything different when the same bunch of Muppets are picked by the biggest Muppet going every week? Surely he's got to try something different. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But I'd give him credit for actually having the balls which I don't think he has, to actually try something different.
Yeah, well, I'll bring you back to that infamous relegation season, Chris, of what might happen, what could just potentially happen when you try something different. We hired a new manager after the sacking of Brendan. It took a couple of games, and Tweedledee, Tweedledum didn't change anything, and we lost them games, which put us in a hole. Probably roughly in and around the same gap between us, and at the time, I think it was Everton that season.
Yeah, it was.
And we hired Dean Smith. We brought in John Terry. And God rest his soul, we brought in back to the club Shakespeare. God rest him, right? He'd be turning over in his grave, bless him, watching his beloved Leicester do and what they're doing now. And what happened is, Chris, we had some freak results, but we got some form of confidence going. We got a few wins here, a couple of points there. We had that weird, bizarre hammering against Fulham, which, let's be honest here, the 3 goals we actually scored softened the blow. You know, and then in the end, Chris, we actually went into the final game of the season and did our job. We beat West Ham at home. See, even that shit team managed to beat West Ham. Granted, it was at home like this one did, but they were under better orders and a bit more freedom then. You know, because Rude hadn't had a team talk and absolutely knackered them, Bob, before that West Ham game.
Yeah.
You know, so we actually ended up doing our job. Unfortunately, Bournemouth were on the beach and Everton won 1-0. So, you know, we know what happened with that. We still went down. But I just don't understand, right? I just don't understand how Rude now, well, not even now, Chris, go back to, who was it first? Was it Crystal Palace or Fulham at home first? Which one did we have first? Was Crystal Palace?
I think it was Palace, but
let's just say, you know the 2 important home games I'm on about anyway. We played Palace and Fulham at home in whatever order they were in. The first one, right? We went. Why is he looking at the team, looking at how they performed against Newcastle? Okay, there was a few good performances, but they weren't full 90-minute performances, and they were against, you know, Liverpool and Man City, but that don't get us any points at the end of the day. So, but we were losing games. Where we were losing games, how we were losing games, and when we tried to play the pragmatic way, why was it failing? He's highlighted and said all these issues, and someone's gone, so what are you going to do about it? And he's gone, oh, keep working on it in the training ground. Well, no, you need to change things, Chris. And at that point, he should have gone, okay, look, I brought my coaches in. I'm going to promote Andy King. I don't know if he'd done it at that point. I don't think he had. But you'd imagine with how quick he went from 18 to the first team coach, that was in the limelight because he said he was talking to him beforehand anyway. Why don't I say, look, guys, you know what's coming. I told you this when I moved in. When I'm able to get my own staff in, you guys are going to be out the door. Let's work on this. This is what I really want to do. And my guy that I'm bringing in and Andy King, who I'm speaking to, has got the same idea as me. We're going to try it now because we've got nothing to lose. The thing is, Chris, right? Let's say what we rant about tonight. If we pick a formation, pick a team, whatever. Let's just say he absolutely went start raving mad and he changed the formation, he changed the style of play, and we went gun-ho, threw everything at it, kitchen sink included in there for free. It's too late. We are down. We are down because this was the last opportunity. We needed to beat West Ham, right? I don't know, people might say, 10, 11 games or whatever left to go. So, we've managed 17 in the first 30-odd games or whatever, 28 games we've played this season. What makes you think we're going to get 12 points from that game? Because that's what we're going to need to stay up. I said this when Wolves went on 22 points. Wolves could abandon ship for the rest of the season and 22 points would keep them up, barring Ipswich getting on a run.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you something here, and I agree with everything you're saying there. I'm going to ask you something. Look, I said to Lynn earlier from the Foxes Trust, I said, look, we're all supporters at the end of the day, and there is a toxic atmosphere around the club.
Yeah.
We all disagree with each other, but there's ways of disagreeing. Don't come onto my Facebook group and call me a twat or say I don't know what I'm talking about, just disagree with me and put the other point across. Otherwise, I'll just kick your ass out the group. I wanted Steve Cooper. And I thought he could keep us up. The way he was playing was disappointing. We'll never know whether he could have kept us up or not. But I then wanted Steve Cooper gone. And I wanted Ruud van Nistelrooy in. And we got Ruud van Nistelrooy. But are we stuck with him now? Or do we, with 12 games to go, say, fuck it, get out of here, because we're going down whatever. And people are saying we can't afford to sack him. Yes, we can. Look how much money what's it called? Top pays off to get us out of date every couple of years. We can afford to sack him. Do we take that gamble now? Because this guy ain't going to get us back up if we go down with all the additional things that we get if we go down. Is it too late to sack him and say, look, Sean Dyche, maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but he can organise a defence. He kept Everton up. Love him or hate him, he kept Everton up. Neil Lennon, he's got a bit of bite about him. He wouldn't put up with what Ruud van Nistelrooy is doing. Do we bite the bullet and say, I know we might look like a bit of a Watford, but what the hell have we got to lose?
It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other for me. Firstly, I kind of went with you, but the only reason I felt that Cooper needed to go is I thought there was something fishy about the way the team suddenly started to down tools, because they went from gun-hoing, going at it no matter what, to a run of 5, 6 or more games where it was just horrid. It ironically laid the foundations to what we're seeing now. We'd already started to see it under Cooper for whatever reason. And that old Copenhagen thing didn't, or wherever it was, didn't help things with his exit, did it really? But you ask if we should get rid of Ruud now. You mentioned one name, and I'd say if he's willing to do it for 12 weeks on a 4-month contract, get Neil Lennon in. And I know people will hate me, and I don't really care for it, because at the end of the day, people have left this club in a lot worse ways. And I don't get why.
I don't remember Neil Lennon leaving.
No. I'm going to add an extra name to it, Chris. That's why I'm building to it. Neil Lennon in and Savage. Get them both in, because they both see what we all see. And if they go back in that dressing room and you want to play that whole nostalgia card, if you want to, or whatever, like they tried maybe a little bit by convincing Dean Smith to bring Shaky with him, because they knew they could get Shaky in with Dean Smith. Maybe that had something to do with that appointment. I don't know. Again, God rest his soul. I don't like, bringing them up when they're not with us anymore. But get them in. Do you remember when we were ready, when O'Neill moved on, and I think it was like Cotty and that all wanted to take, and Walsh wanted to take over. Second chance at redemption to save us and not bring in a bloody potato peeler and then have to suffer with a well, it wasn't really his fault actually, but Dave Bassett, because we'll end up with a Mickey Adams who gets us on a run and gets us back promoted and then realises he actually is out of his depth. If you're going to do that, sack him now. Get Neil Lennon, get Savage, get any of them ex-players in. Probably Lennon, because he's got the managerial, he got the managerial experience behind his back. Say, look, I'm going to give you the same sort of contract Shearer had, right? Or I'm going to give you a 2-year deal, but of course this will never happen because Rudkin's not got a brain cell, with a clause that if you don't keep us up, we don't have to pay you off, or you get half your payoff, whatever. Save a little bit of dollar. And I'm sure Lennon would be like, yeah, fine, I'll take that, because if I fail, so what? I'm still getting money in. If I keep us up, I've got a contract. And if you're not going to do that, no. Let us go down. Let the deadwood and the toxicity walk, because obviously we're going to go into it, Chris. I think there's some players at fault for this as well. Yeah. Down to tools.
I've got to say, I think Robbie Savage is actually in a job at the moment.
Oh, is he? Maybe it's
But then again, in fairness, so was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he first went to Man United. I remember, look, people will laugh at us and say, well, you're becoming a Watford or whatever. Be careful what you wish for. Whatever we wish for, it can't be any fucking worse than what we've got at the moment. somebody to come in that looks at it and goes, we can't play this thing. Let's try something different. We might just get a few draws. I mean, for God's sake, get Cooper back. Because it was, at least under Cooper, we were frustrating teams who were picking up points here, there, and everywhere. You've grown ears. So I just don't see what we're going to gain. Because, and I said this as well to Lynn earlier, last time there was a lot of accusations laid at the club that we hadn't prepared for relegation. Well, I'm sorry, we should have prepared for relegation from week 2 this season because it was on the cards, even because we thought we were going to get a deduction of points. We should prepare for the championship. Is this guy going to bring us back up? No, he's not, is he?
No, it's just not. He's not because, first of all, if we're to, all right, this year we've managed to get away with it, or I don't like the term get away with it, we've managed to fight the allegations with our Sol Goodman lawyer. Better call Sol. We might need him. We're going to need him again next year to take on the EFL. But the thing is, Chris, you look at Enzo at Chelsea, right? And I think it's clear to say that Enzo did exactly the same with Chelsea that he did with Leicester. Had an amazing, once he got over that dodgy bedding in period, which it always seems to happen at teams like Chelsea and that when you first go there. He got on a right run. They were winning games. They were free-flowing. They were flying up the table. For a little part, they were clawing up for a late title charge towards Liverpool. Then the weather got cold, and so did Enzo. He got cold feet, and they plummeted too far off it. They're going to finish in the top 3, let's face it, because that top 4 battle is between a few other clubs, Man City and Forest, most notably. But you say, like we talked about this late at the halfway point or just before it in the season. If Enzo would have done what he did at Chelsea with this Leicester squad, obviously a few players wouldn't have been here because he wouldn't have fucking signed them. But my point is, Chris, we would have agreed that style of football, because it clearly isn't. Look at Southampton, who played that way, wouldn't have kept us up. Now, my theory is if you go down to the Championship with this squad and Ruud van Nistelrooy's in charge and you lose all your players, because that's what we're going to do, some will be a blessing in disguise. That's all I'm saying. Some will be a blessing in disguise. But you'll have Alves, Braybook, potentially no signings. That's worst case scenario, say we get a transfer embargo put on us. So we're relying on youngsters and those that stay behind because they're either willing to stay in the Championship or they're on too big a money to get rid of in the window. And you're asking them to play the exact same way we're playing now and get us promoted. You've got more chance of League One than you have promotion.
I mean, you should be looking at this and going, like, okay, this is the Pep way. But Pep's not winning with the Pep way at the moment. A lot of people have been saying in the chat, Lennon got Bolton relegated. So many managers have what did Nigel Pearson do before he came to Leicester? He nearly got Southampton relegated. They only stayed up because of us. People are saying bring Pearson back. What has he done since he left Leicester? What has he done since he hasn't been with Craig Shakespeare? Nothing. He hasn't won anything. In fact, he's fallen out with Derby. He didn't work out at Watford, although I don't think he was given the time. I'm not against it, but would Neil Lennon be any worse? And they were saying like, well, look, if you sat Ruud van Nistelrooy, we're going to, it's going to affect our PSR. We gave Van Nistelrooy a 3-year contract, not because of his managerial experience, because of who it is. And the club, I think, got blinded. Oh, it's Ruud van Nistelrooy. Let's give him we've got to get Ruud van... this thing, we could be... Ruud van Nistelrooy is our manager. Let's give him a 3-year contract. Let's go and wank up against the walls to show him how much we love him. I mean, pay him off. Pay him off and get rid of him and worry about PSR later.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case, and it's definitely not.
Sorry, mate. You asked me before if I could hear you, friend. I can now.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let me just message him to sort it out.
No worries. But so whoever we get in is going to be a risk. We know that. When we got Dean Smith in, everybody was calling for Rodgers to be sacked. Was it a risk? Yes, it was. Did it work? Nearly. It nearly worked. But do you know what? We're not going to stay up with this clown in charge. We really are not. And if we're going to be fucked with EFL and PSR, we might as well be fucked royally, and we might as well get, somebody in that might give us a chance. I'm not saying that those people are the answer and that Lennon would do. But what Lennon would do is and we're going to come on to the players soon, but those players, they don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. Vardy runs round, hardly touches the ball, and when he gets it, he doesn't know what he's doing. Half the time he's offside. Look at Wout Faes at the back. Look at Samari in midfield. Winks. They're all fucking rubbish. Yesterday I was watching, and I've got to say, like, everybody was saying, like, Robbie Savage is my new love child, but he was just saying everything so correctly. And when you see Leicester City players trying to get back because West Ham are on the attack, and West Ham players to join the attack are running past our players trying to get back and defend, that's how fucking shit we are. Like I said before, Wout Faes' mother should have crossed her legs and done us all a favour. Ruud van Nistelrooy's mother maybe should have backed out rather than swallowed. They are just rubbish. We've got to a point. We can't fall any further than we have fallen. Sorry, Brad, I was just having a rant then.
No, go for it. And funny enough, that is the title of the show. So you're welcome to.
But I just we're going to come on to the players, but let's just go for it. Like I was saying, I don't know if you heard me say, we're going to get fucked for PSR when we go down anyway. Why not go for it royally and sack Ruud van Nistelrooy?
Yeah, I mean, again, yes, but the problem is the reason I kind of say that with a little bit of hesitancy is, yes, if you're going to get someone who's willing to chuck their all in for 10, 12 games, I don't know how many's left, right? You know what I mean? If they're willing to give it their all and chuck it in, and if it doesn't work, they're going to go, that's what you hired me for. I wasn't able to do it. Sorry, lads. No, John Rook going to go, no, you did an amazing job. Here's a 65-year contract. But, the intention is, well, I didn't keep you up. I tried my best. I'm going to do what Dean Smith did. I signed a 4-month contract. I'll leave you to hire a replacement. I'll go on gardening leave while you look for my replacement. That's fine. What I don't want to do, Chris, is sack Ruud and then bring in a Dyche, bring in a Fat Sam, bring in someone like that who's going to bend us over a barrel, knowing maybe not Sean Dyche, because I don't know if that's the sort of person he is, but potentially a lot of managers, Chris, are going to bend us over a barrel because they're going to go, the odds of me doing this, keeping you guys in the Premier League, are slim to none. I'm not telling you that, but I think, you're in for a good time trying to, you're in for a hell of a bad run here, and you're going to need me for at least 2 seasons to commit to this club in building us back up to go for the Premiership and get us out of the shitstorm and get us back here in 2, maybe even 3 seasons' time. Let's talk money, guys. And that's what I fear happening, because I don't know how much it affects them, Chris, and I don't know how true it is, but that's what Big Sam did to Leeds when they sacked him when they sacked their manager with 6 games to go.
But as John says there, I'm not sure who would accept the job. If you offer somebody £1 million for 12 weeks' work, are they going to take it? Of course they fucking are. I'm not having a go at you, John. I'm just sorry. I wasn't swearing at you then. But they are. Any manager would take it. Twice, David Moyes went to West Ham on a short-term contract to keep them up, and he earned the right to then be offered a full-time contract in keeping them up. if you're giving somebody £1 million to say, right, keep us up and we'll give you another $500,000 if you manage to do that, they're going to take it, because I tell you something, if somebody comes in, let's say Sean Dyche comes in, doesn't keep us up, it's not a stain on his record because we're down anyway. If he keeps us up, it's a fucking miracle on his record. By keeping us up, anybody will take the job if the money's right. And we say this about Watford, don't we? We say, when you go to Watford, and I've got to be honest with you, Nigel Pearson virtually said this once in a podcast. I knew, he said, when I went to Watford, if it didn't work out, I'd still get paid off. So, you know, managers will go. Shall I just go through some out-of-work managers for you, Brad?
Go for it.
Now, some of these you might laugh at, but these are the names.
Okay. Don't laugh. That means I'm intrigued by them. Let's play this game. Laugh,
okay.
no.
Okay.
Right.
65 years old, been available since mid-2021, Joachim Low.
Ha!
Been available since October last year, 55 years old, Erik ten Hag.
Okay, Chris, seriously, get the list up.
No. All right, let me come back on that Erik ten Hag. He's not a bad manager. Amorim is not a bad manager, because that's why they got the jobs at Man United. It's just Man United is such a shithole at the moment that whoever takes over there, Ian Holloway, we could say was the worst manager we ever had, got us relegated to the 3rd tier for the only time in our history. A couple of seasons later, after that, he took Blackpool up to the Premier League. Blackpool in the Premier League.
Yeah, so, I don't get why fans give Ian Holloway so much stick. The guy even admitted he probably shouldn't have taken the job because it was going to damage him and Leicester doing so because of how little time he had. But
you see what I mean, though? You know, we're laughing at Erik ten Hag, and I'm not saying he would not look at us and think, you know, fucking hell, it's Leicester. I'm not going. We might be beneath him. Let's be honest, we have to accept that. But what I'm saying is, because of what happened at Man United, does not make him a bad manager.
No, true. And he took the biggest name out of that club, who was also at that time the biggest of all the toxicity there. Let's face it, he was, whether you like Ronaldo or not, and I'm not saying I don't or like him or not, but his ego ruled that roost in the dressing room, along with a few others. There's Rat-Face Flange in there, Bruno Flange, as I call him. You know, but he went, no, out you go. There's door, see you later. Because you down tools and we're down to 10 men, so I'm not bothering.
Yeah. I mean, Big Sam, everyone's going about Big Sam. I think Big Sam's been out of it possibly too long.
3 years probably. Yeah, when Leeds got relegated was probably his last job, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's the same as Joachim Low, I know I mentioned his name. But
yeah, I mean, I'd rather see this on the sidelines than this.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd sooner have Sean Dyche than Big Sam, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
So let's just go say Erik ten Hag. I think he's a good manager. Let's have a look at some other names. Allegri from Juventus, he's 57. I mean, obviously, a lot of these we probably wouldn't go. Lopetegui.
No. Capital N, capital O, exclamation point, no.
So he's a possibility then.
Yeah.
Gary O'Neill. No. I'll do that one for you.
I'm not laughing at it because I think
I am in fucking no way. Now, Sam Allardyce is actually 70 years old and he's only been out of work since 2023. So, I might have to. I'll take that back. What I said, Sean Dyche, like to say.
If he signs like Chris,
Javi Garcia,
who
Leeds was his last job, 2023. All right, here's one for you. Russell Martin.
Yeah, oh, you mean that manager that when he asked if they still had a chance of going up before they played us in their last game of hand, turned around and said, we'll have to take a different route to promotion?
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the one.
no, Chris, I'm all right.
Scott just wants to say, can you clarify your thoughts on Lopetegui?
Yes, I can. Just for you, Scott. No.
John says, and then, this is good. This was the next one. A 45-year-old who's been out of work only since November. Steve Cooper.
Yeah, take him back.
It's funny, isn't it, how
So
much we wanted him out. And in fairness, they said yesterday Robbie Savage was saying doesn't understand why he's not got another job already. He's a good manager.
Do you know what? You know what, Chris? It sounds funny, doesn't it? You know what? When we play Chelsea, and if you go into Chelsea game, just take this with a pinch of salt. Have a laugh with your mates on a few beers, saying, "I can't believe this is suggested, but it's funny," right? But if you go in Chelsea away, right, you don't have to wait until we're 1-0 down. It won't take long, trust me. Cole Palmer will turn into prime Ronaldo against us, no guarantee, right? But just for a laugh, you know how the players went on holiday after he got sacked and put Miss You Enzo and all that shit on the things? Well, why don't they away and just start singing, whatever we did, whatever we said, we didn't mean it. We just want you back for good. Cooper back, Cooper back. Cooper back for good. I'd love to hear that at Stamford Bridge. I would wet myself laughing if I heard the away end singing.
But but when you look at managers, we have to accept that certain managers are good at certain things. We know how Jose Mourinho couldn't do it at Oldham Athletic. Pep couldn't do it at Accrington Stanley. Managers have their kind of what they're good at. Daniel Farke, very good at getting teams promoted, not so good at keeping them in the Premier League. And the thing with Steve Cooper is what he is good at is getting a team promoted and somehow just keeping them up. You're never going to win the Premier League with him or win an FA Cup probably with him, but he's going to do that for you. Do you know what I mean? So if we get him, don't give him a fucking 3-year contract. Give him a 1-year rolling contract or something. All right, here we go. There's another one coming up here. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready for love? Yes.
Maurizio Sarri, just been left March 2024 from Lazio.
I mean, never in a million years is he going to bother. But, I mean, why not?
Well, you know.
I mean, hold on, is that the manager who managed Chelsea at some point?
Was it?
Who's the one who asked the goalkeeper to come off in the cup final and he refused to go off? Was that Sarri? Or was that
it was Sarri, yes.
Yeah, so if he puts Danny Ward in goal, we're fucked, because if he just refuses to come off.
I know what you mean. I hadn't thought about that, actually. It's a good point. Let's have a look going down here. We're struggling. There's not some. Chris Hughton, I think he's probably past it. Oh, he was manager of Ghana and they sacked him. Sanche Flores, he was at Seville.
I'd take him.
Kingsman.
I'd take him.
Let me just go down some more here that we may have heard of. God, there's a lot of managers out of work. Sorry, Stephen Gerrard. I know you've not frozen. Don't pretend to be.
Wait there, Chris. I think I've got one. Where did I put it? Is it there?
Let's have a look. Rob Page, the ex-Wales manager.
No.
The ex-Rangers manager.
No. If they can't manage in a pharmacy, they've got no chance of keeping us up in the Premier League.
Benitez, the Spanish waiter.
Yeah, sorry, get him in. Get him in. He'd play football to our strength.
He did all right at Newcastle, didn't he?
Yeah, even though he wasn't able to keep them up, he was fighting a losing battle at Newcastle that season. But
all right, this one. Hasn't worked since December 2021. He was at my French team, Saint Etienne, a certain Mr. Claude Puel.
We're already playing, Chris, we're already playing slow, passable, backwards football. Do you want us to go even slower?
I'm just reading names out. Just
to clarify on that, guys, no.
Rob Edwards?
No.
Oh, Eusebio. I think we would. Oscar is out of work, but he is 76.
No.
Louis Garcia?
Maybe. He wouldn't come to us, but yeah, sure, why not then? That's just for the lols.
I mean, there are managers out there. Philippe Clement, I think he was the Rangers.
You've completely missed the most obvious name. We could get some brilliant players through the door. He's definitely not a wheeler and dealer, but we could have Benjani, Erman Ryderson, Peter Crouch, Nico Cranchar. He'd bring a lot from West Ham all the way Tottenham to Leicester, wouldn't he? Harry Redknapp. He'd got Daniel back.
No, yes, indeed.
Scott, because don't let him. Don't introduce him to Susan Whelan because he'll think you're saying wheeler and dealer and he'll walk out. We can't.
Yeah.
Just like
well, I'm going to leave. I forgot. What was I going to say? Yes. I've been leading up to this one name. Is available. Would attract big names. He'd get the respect in the dressing room. Wayne Rooney.
You've drove me to nicotine, Chris. I would say alcohol, but I'm going in hand.
I'll kill myself off there.
I'm going to throw an absolute curveball out there. Hasn't here? Let me just do some fact filing while I scream in anger in my head at Wayne Rooney. You look at more managers and let me come up with one for you.
Well, somebody just suggested, Arsene Wenger.
That's what I was looking for. I was going to say he wanted Varley in 2016. He never got him. His chance to manage him 12 weeks. Get Arsene Wenger in. You know what, Chris? I would be all up for Arsene Wenger walking through this door. I really would. If Arsene Wenger walked in, mate, I would get him in. Guys, he's French. Bring him in. He plays quality. He does this. That's the worst French accent ever. I don't care.
Yes, that's awful. I mean, the only worry with Wayne Rooney, if we got him in, every player we signed would be over 30 because he likes the old ones, doesn't he?
I feel sorry for our tea ladies because the last I knew at the club, they were a right page for Wayne Rooney.
Gray says, "Oh my God, Chris, how many signers have you had?" Jesse, Frank Lampard's doing all right at Chelsea, at Coventry. Hey, there you go, Robbins. No. Come on. No, get back here now, you. Get back here now.
No.
Yes.
No,
otherwise I'm going to rip your contract up.
Ideas.
Come back.
Fine.
There's nothing wrong. Mark Robbins did a good job at Coventry City.
Okay, tell me what legacy he has at Leicester, because bringing an ex-player back with a bit of a legacy like Lennon or Heskey, promoting him through the team or whatever, because he's already at the club, that might do something for us. But Mark Robbins, I'll tell you, I'm going to answer the question for you, Chris. The only thing I remember Mark Robbins doing was scoring a winner against Ipswich Town. In the FA.
He was a player then. He's now a manager. Look, Gray said no to Robbins. Michael has said yes to Robbins. Oh, the crowd.
I'm sorry,
the crowd.
I'm not being biased, Michael, but I've always preferred Gray.
No, I think he's a very good choice, and I would have had him instead of Van Nistelrooy, I've got to say, because he's got the experience. He would probably get us out the Championship. He's a good Championship manager. Look what he did at Coventry. Look at all the shit they went through with no ground, out debt, going out of business. And he guided them through that to almost if it hadn't been for Fergie time, an FA Cup final.
If it hadn't been for VAR time, because that was absolutely, diabolical.
But you see what I mean, though? You see what I mean? Corberan, he's been mentioned a couple of times as well.
Yeah, but
I think I need a drink.
In the Championship, maybe because the club will just take anybody who can manage a youngsters. And again, Chris, we'll get to the squad at some point tonight. We'll get there. He might end up managing a young squad of 20 years. Well, if we believe the two youngsters we've got, it'll be 15 and 16-year-olds in the Championship.
Indeed, and I'm just having a look. Well, I'm going to ask you to the next question, and we'll just have a look and get the squad players up. Well, that's in the chat. So a definitive, and I did actually ask everybody last night: would you have Peter Taylor back, or would you keep Ruud van Nistelrooy? And that was Peter Taylor, not now, because I think he's probably about 90. And we all know he'd bring Junior Lewis back with him as well. So it'd be a good team that he'd be bringing back.
That's clearly a Brazilian in the squad. We all knew his passport said that, don't we, Chris?
Yeah, indeed. And everybody said Peter Taylor over Ruud van Nistelrooy. How does, that... You all said it. You all went for it.
That's right, mate. Because I tell you what, Peter Taylor, Peter Taylor just did the reverse of Ruud in a way. He changed the tactics, but he brought championship-ready players. I have a feeling that if Peter Taylor had instructed Vardy, Samare, Winks, and all that to play his way he did in the Premier League, I mean, Adi Akinbaye missed enough chances on his own to have kept us up. And they weren't exactly 30-yarders, were they? He missed, I remember that dreadful Liverpool game we lost at home. He missed about 7 sitters in that game, Chris. I mean, if we had Vardy at least hitting the post, or Daka putting it just wide and not 40 yards wide, we might have stayed up with that team under Peter Taylor in charge.
Yeah.
We didn't play that bad football. It was just Dross in the wrong area, mate.
Everybody in the chat, no explanation, but just a yes or no. Brad, I'm going to ask you the same, but I want you to explain it. We've got now 10 days to the next match. Do we sack Ruud van Nistelrooy and get somebody else in? It doesn't matter who, get somebody else in, or do we stick with Ruud van Nistelrooy?
Yes, sack him. Bring anybody else in, whether you're thinking someone who's committed to the long term, or someone who's going to jump on the pedestal for 12 weeks and do the best they can. Right now, it just does not matter. At the end of the day, we are down. Barring a miracle, we are down. Now, forget the financial implications, forget the no point, we're already down mindset. Look at it this way. There is one tiny, minuscule glimmer of hope that sacking the manager now, whilst we've got the weekend and a week to prepare and get him through the door in the next 3 days. Sorry, Rookin's in charge. That will take 4 months, so we'll be down in the Championship by then. But let's just say for the lulls, we bring in someone within 4 days, right? Look what David Moyes has done at Everton. Now, that would probably still not be enough to keep us up with 12 games to go, right? Having someone like that, having a manager bounce, winning a couple of games, getting a couple of draws, still might not be enough. But it would give them lads, after the initial heartache of relegation, go, you know what, we nearly fucking stayed up. If we play like that in the Championship, we come back up with his manager and he sticks to his guns, we can come back up, first time of asking, even with a points deduction, even if we have to do it for the playoffs, and we can do this. There, let's actually give him a contract. Or whatever, however we do it, because we can. What are we going to do for the next 12 games? I tell you what, because if you stick with Ruud right now, that last home game of the season, the King Power will be empty bar away fans because no one will want to care and go. Yeah.
Right. Let's just go through these. Don't mention Wickham, says Gray. Right. John Warner. Well, I presume from what you're saying, I'm not reading names out because I said that wasn't the question. So he's saying yes. Gray saying no. Michael saying yes. John saying yes. Ray saying no. Daedalus is sitting on the fence. He's saying gardening leave, but that is a sack. That is getting rid of him. So that's a yes. Scott is saying yes. And Paul is saying another name. So I guess that meaning yes. So the majority seem to be saying sack Rude now. So fair enough. We will come on to the players, but I actually just want to touch on, while we're having a rant, your friend and mine, John Rudkin. Is he a scapegoat? I asked this the other day on the show. Is he a scapegoat?
No, he's not. He is objectively, as to blame for this meteoric downfall of this football club than anybody. Because, Chris, it was... Now, again, there's the owners. They're not a scapegoat in it. We blame them just as much as we do Rude, just as much as we go into the players. Well, I am anyway. When we get to that one, right? But he takes the blame just as much, if not slightly more than some, because of the following reasons. He was given the responsibility and the task from Vishai and Top. We want to break the barrier. Now, we did that with winning the Premier League, but we want to prove that wasn't a one-off and, in 5 years' time, people are going, oh, well, that'll never happen again. Right? What he was entrusted with is a large amount of funds. Push the limits as much as you are willing to, making sure we don't break PSR. And Sol Goodman for saving us, because he must have pushed it a bit for them to find that little fine wording of the law, because otherwise we were screwed, Chris, let's face it. But his mission, which he chose to accept, here's a good ton of money, go and invest it in players.
That's who we need, Tom Cruise. Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Exactly, right? But my point is, Chris, was to get us European football. Now, fans and everybody have rightly got a bit overexcited when we were second and third for a couple of seasons and holding on to Champions League positions, right? And at the pivotal moment, Chris, maybe at that first... And I'm going to call it what people call it, even though I don't believe it to be. Failure was when we got fifth and we didn't hold on to fourth. Should have been it. That should have been, whoa, okay, breaks. Let's rethink a minute. Let's have a little bit of a mother's meeting. You said Europe. Can we, with the squad we've got, one or two signings in and out, keeping the books level, can we get European football with a side? And the happy seal would have gone, yeah, we've done it once. I think we're probably punching above our weight still, which he said several times during the relegation season. But he would have gone, yeah, we can get European football. We can manage, we can sustain European football and that. We might have a season where we drop out, but over the next 4 or 5 years, definitely we can get in Europe more times than not being it. And that should have been it. But this greedy, snivelling rat who loves his money, a little bit like running to the bank with his money, told Top, no, Brendan said top 4, so we need another 50 million. Yeah, I know that will put us on the brink of PSR rules and FFP if we go down, but don't worry about that. We'll get it. Brendan said, trust me. No, you don't need to ring him. He definitely said, let me buy Islam, Adrian Silvers and Islam Somalis and Ahmed Musas and let me sign the contracts on them, even though we've only seen one of them play decent football in a decent league. And we'll sign him 14 seconds late as well, so it ruins his career and his time at Leicester. Oh, yeah. To sign Iheanacho, who's a predominant striker and play only one when we only play one up front. Get him through the door. Patson Decker, 21 years of old, plays in a Polish league, never proved himself at a top level.
Polish league. No, let me come in there, because we did a show not so long ago where we apportioned blame. And in fairness, you did give more blame to Rudkin than I did. But having just spoken to Lynn, as well, he does not control the purse strings. If anything, that's more Susan Whelan's bag.
Well, sack them both then. Sack them both. Put them in the same
Yeah,
boat.
no, I think Susan Whelan's getting out of this complete. All she does is go and collect awards. We've got to be careful what we say because apparently, talking to Lynn, the club do know about all these channels and they do actually watch them. I love Leicester. I think Top's a wonderful guy. And John Rudkin, I don't know why everybody's picking on him. I think he's wonderful. Just covering myself there.
No, I'm not. Rudkin, this is for you. Top, grow a set. Susan, if you're the one using the paddle around Shit Creek and we're going around in circles, guess what? You should be going around in circles down to the job centre, love. Because you've got this club in the biggest mess I've seen since we had to get Gary Lineker and MLSky to put their hands in their own pockets and bail us out of administration.
All right, let me ask you this then, Brad. If we were to, over the weekend...
We'll get picked to show them, Chris. I've just got a funny feeling.
Say that again, sorry.
I'm just saying, Chris, I've got a funny feeling that they carefully select the viewings that they want. I don't know if this show will make it into the office.
It certainly won't make it to the players. Although, according to Lynn, some of them are watched. Look, let me ask you this then. No game this weekend. Top flies in, has a word with Sue and says, yeah, look, get John in. John, great. Look, you stood by me. You've helped me. You've been here since the beginning. You were here all the time. But I'm afraid we're going to have to make changes. Sorry, thank you very much. Bit of a payoff for you. Go into the sunset and enjoy your retirement. Would that make an ounce or an inch of difference to how we are performing? And would it make any difference in keeping us up?
It wouldn't make any difference on the pitch, but long term, Chris, it would, because we would hire somebody who, and the one bit of credit I will give Mr. Rudkin, you'll probably see, hi John, how you doing, mate? They've cut the bit out where I was cussing you off, so I'm pretending to be nice to you here. I will give you a bit of credit, old Rudkin, me old mucker, me old China pot, me old pal. You wasn't bred for this role. You was work your way up the ladder, got it on promotions alone in terms of in-house promotions. You weren't somebody that studied this, did this job from the age of 30 to 45 and then got given a job. You didn't do this job for 10, 15 years beforehand. You worked your way up, credit to you, at workhorse, but you were maybe given the wrong promotion. We get in a proper director of football who's been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. That Ralph Ragnick guy who actually did that at Man U before they actually weirdly demoted him to manager, or maybe it was a promotion because they paid him off so much to quit. I don't know. But he was a director of football, Chris. That's why they brought him in. That's why he was brought in, to steady the ship as a director of football, balance the books out. We need somebody who isn't spending the first 10 years of their career as a director of football learning what the hell they do as a job, because I'm sure it's difficult, Chris. It is difficult. John, how you doing? It's difficult for him to do that. I'm not saying it was easy by any stretch of the imagination, but now he's learned the job. He's proven he's no good at it. He can't quite do it as well as he can do, and maybe he's got enough, it seems, on paper before all these PSR and that came in. He got away with it, Chris, because there was no need to go, oh yeah, got you that star player in. It's going to cost you 80 grand a week and plus bonuses, but we don't need to talk about that. What? No, we signed him. He probably did that. Now it's a bit like, good news, bad news. I got the player you wanted, but bad news is you wanted to pay me 80 grand a week. He demanded 120, so I'm paying 150. Sorry, that's what I do. That seems like what John Rudkin does with these contract offers he's making. We need an experienced man to come in as a director of football.
All right, let me play devil's advocate with you here.
You try.
I can try. A lot of like Islam Slimani and all of those when we just won the league, and that was Ranieri. But let me just say that Ruud van Nistelrooy says in the summer, he's still here, right? I want player A, whoever it happens to be, yeah? He's perfect for what I want. He's a good, solid centre-back. I want him. He goes off to say to John Rudkin, this is the guy I want. So Rudkin goes off, has a word with the agent. And oh God, it's Leicester. Oh, look at the trouble they're in, and they've just got relegated. Oh, I don't know. Well, look, Ruud van Nistelrooy really wants you. I can offer you 40k a week. That's what I've been told I can offer you. That's what my budget is. Oh, no, won't come for 40 grand. We're going to be looking at 60 grand minimum. Oh, really? All right. What about if we do 40 grand plus a signing on? No. We want 60 grand a week. Okay. He goes back. He can't sign in then because it's above what he's been told to pay. Goes back to Rue, says, Rudy's not coming. He wants 60 grand a week. And Rue goes, top? I want another 20 grand a week for that centre back. Oh, that's okay. I can have it. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, go and offer him 60 grand. He goes back to, well, we'll pay you 60 grand. Yeah, okay, we'll sign him. And then he turns out to be crap.
Yeah.
None of that is Woodkin's fault.
No, you're right. But let me play devil's advocate back to what I've seen through learning. And you know me, Chris. I'm not a researcher.
No. Play devil's advocate. I don't want you to agree with everything I say.
No,
I know I'm right most of the time, but do please put your voice.
I know. But my thing is, Chris, I'm not a researcher as some people. You see these channels that do research videos and they go in depth and it's about 50 minutes long. But I watch them and I learn things from them over my time. And what I've learned from whether it's Ben Foster's podcasts, ex-footballers, ex-directors, even basic YouTubers like me and you, there's a guy, people in the chat might know them. There were an internet club called #United. They're doing really well at the moment in the non-leagues. Yeah. That guy learned on the job how to run a club, and I've listened to how it kind of goes. Here's the thing for you, Chris. Playing devil advocate for that call. This is what any decent director of footballer would do. Right, Mr. Right back who can play left back. Because we don't have a right back, we want to play your left back. Right? Okay, tongue in cheek that. Yes, Ruud van Nistelrooy, big admirer of you. Look, I know we're championship bound right now. I know there's still a chance we can stay in the Premier League, but we'll be honest with you, if you're honest with us, the fight's difficult. We're not going to be able to bring you into the summer, but Ruud wants you for the long term. He says, get us back in the Premiership. We're willing to offer you a contract which has some bonuses to help us get back in the Premiership, but 45 grand. Now, I want 65. Okay? We can offer you 45 and then bonuses. Like, no, it's a flat 65 or we're not going anywhere. And this is what John Rookin does. Okay, leave it with me. On his way back to Leicester, he's back in the office. Hi, Ruud. Yeah, you free? No, I'm not asking how old you are, how many brain cells you got, mate. I'm asking you if you're available to talk. Yeah, can I come to your office or do you want to come to mine? All right, see you in a minute. Ruud. Mr. Right back that can play as a left back. He wants to come here, but he's not willing to take a wage cut. He wants 65 grand regardless of what division we're in. Now, I know you said he's your main priority, and I get that he's good. And I get that he's your top player. But I also know that your priority position, Mr. Ruud, is a striker because Daka's leaving, we sold Cannon, and Vardy's retiring. So we haven't got a striker. So we know that is more important than another right back is. I know it's a priority in your top three, but this is what I think would be a better option. Your scouts gave you Mr. Z and W and Mr. A and B as your second and third priority choices, who you would still be very happy to take and you consider them good options. I've already spoken to them on the way back. A and B is actually willing to take 35 grand a week and sign for us. And Z and W is actually happy to take the flat 45, whatever. They both want the bonuses that you're offering, as the first guy was, but save 25 grand and I can then maybe talk top into giving you 70, a little bit to push for a high-end striker to get us back into the Premier League. I reckon that's our best option. Now, I'm just a messenger here, Ruud. If you're adamant to get him in, I'll make the call to top. But I'm telling you right now, you blow 65 grand a week on this right back, we're not getting a top end striker in. That's your options. I'll leave it with you. Let you think about it. Ring me in the morning.
So me as Ruud ring you the next morning. Hi, John. Good morning. How you doing?
Oh, fucking hell, it's this free brain clown. Right, mate, how you doing?
I still, and you're doing a very good job of backing up, John here. No, I still want that player offering what we got, what you can get away with, please. Bye. Look, what we're both saying is, and you said it as well, it isn't down to John. It's down to other people.
Yeah, but my point is unless we know which version of that we're getting, and it sounds like, unfortunately, Chris, we're getting your version of John Rudkin, where he bends himself over, spreads his leg, and goes, "Don't worry, lads, I brought the hustly bustly for you," and lets them bend him over and do whatever to him. It doesn't sound like the John Rudkin goes, No. You're not having 65 grand. Put it on the striker.
This is the problem with the club, and this is what I said to Lynn. Nobody knows what the fuck anybody does at this club. All right, they don't have to tell us, but one of the biggest, not shareholders, but the fans invest in the club. They have a right to know what everybody does, and I don't mean going on to company's house and seeing what title everybody's got. I mean, going onto the website, there's a picture of Susan Whelan, says she's CEO. What? That's all it says. John Rudkin, Director of Football. I know what the Director of Football maybe does at Rochdale, but that's Rochdale. It doesn't mean he does the same at Leicester. It's not a set job. We should know what all these people do. Because if we don't fucking know, because the Thai people, we know that they are sort of, don't tell anybody anything. Apparently, did you know we've got a Director of Communications? Did you know that? I bet you didn't, did you? We do. We have a Director of Communications. What the fuck he does, I don't know. He certainly doesn't communicate to people. Well, maybe to the odd fan forum, but certainly not to the fans. So we need more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Communication.
Sorry?
Communication.
Well, communication, but more so we can see what's going on. More, not visibility, but transparency. Thank you, Brad. Thank you. Between us, we get there. So you very much, your version of it could be spot on. My version of it could be spot on. We don't know, and that's the problem. We are just having to say, fuck John Rudkin, get him out of my club, because we don't have any other option to say other than Ruud van Nistelrooy. Right, Brad, shall we talk players?
Yes.
And we'll go through this reasonably quickly. But you want to go through and say what you think about each of the players and whether we should keep them next season or not. Does that include buying them off if we get relegated? Because this guy's still got 2 years of a contract after we go down.
It can do. Are we starting?
You tell me what you want to do with each of them. We'll start with Jordan Ayew.
I would like to keep him because he's going to have the experience. He's going to have the know-how. And that's something that we held on to a lot for our immediate return last season. I'm only giving this opinion. I'm trying to take out the fact that realistically, I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of him anyway because his wages, etc.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ultimately Premier League quality. I think he's alarming goal scoring or lack of it record at Crystal Palace and elsewhere showed that. My point is though, Chris, he's that old wise head that you need in the dressing room that's going to help the potential generation, youngsters, beef up, get strong mentally and physically for the challenge of the next few years ahead, whether that's an instant return and we become West Brom or 2 seasons or more in the Championship. So right now, I'm keeping him, Chris. Not just because we don't have a choice financially, but because I actually think he's the sort of balance you're going to need next season.
Okay, so we're going to play Snog, Marry, Avoid here. I don't want you to marry him. It's all right. So marry is keep, yeah. Snog is keep but loan out. And avoid is sell, get rid of. Yeah.
Well, I'm marrying him then. I'm marrying myself to Jordan, are you?
Oh, that's fine. No, that's it. So he is a marry. And I have to say, I haven't got this prepared. So when you see this come up, don't panic. That's just for if ever he was to. Buenotte, I mean, I think we know he's got to go because he's on a what's the word I'm looking for? He's a loanee, isn't he?
Do you know what, Chris? I don't actually get all the hype around him because he's supposed to be a young, hungry lad. The second things got tough and he wasn't the favourite golden child, he has sulked on the training ground. He looked disinterested coming off the bench. He looked disinterested when he came off the bench. He did James Maddison without all the class of James Maddison and tried to take it all on himself last night when he did come on, because I saw him about 4 or 5 times and I went, he's going to lose the ball in 5, 4, 3. And sometimes, Chris, I didn't even get to 3 before he'd lose the ball. So I started counting down from 3 and even then he'd lose the ball counting down because he lost it every time. I will tell you this now, Chris. Brighton can have him back. I'm avoiding him.
Okay, right. Fair play. Like I say, I'm not gonna argue. Sorry, I'll just put this one under avoid, shall I?
Yeah, avoid sending back to Talk Sport. Useless, absolutely.
I knew where that one was going. I really did. Excuse me on that. Can I just say, I'm going to say another 2 words to you, Mick McCarthy. There's another name for you.
I'll take it. But go on then.
Right. So, Koulibaly, I've only just signed him, but
honestly, Chris, he's rough around the edges, but he's a young lad. He's already shown me more stability at right back than a fucking left back. I mean, I know that shouldn't be that difficult, but we're insistent of playing him. I really wish someone had run over Justin's boot, not to end his career or not have him out for long, but just so Rude was forced to play this guy at our actual right back. At right back, I would keep him.
Yeah.
I'll marry him, sorry. I'll use that term. I'll use your term. I'll marry him. I do.
Do carry on for a second. I've got a nosebleed. I'm going to have to be back in a minute.
Because the thing is, there's players on this list that I'm getting rid of. That may hint where I'm going with some of these. It may at least give you an idea of 1 or 2 that I'm thinking of. I wouldn't want to see here next season, and you'll get my explanation as to why for it. This squad, right? When it went down, when the trapdoor fell in the Championship, and we did go down to League One. A lot of players, barring the likes of Andy King and Matty Fryer, went willingly, flew out the door. They couldn't get out there quick enough. The final whistle on the last game of the season, they were practically going taxi and trying to get themselves on a holiday or to wherever their agent was to get them a move. Some moved for some money and were happy to stay, a bit like Maddison and Barnes last year. And we played it safe. We signed Championship quality players, very high standard quality players, but we kind of maybe rushed to promotion. Maybe we should have read this warning signs coming under Enzo that the squad wasn't ready for the Premier League. It would have meant we lost the playoffs, but who knows? We maybe would have kept them players, brought in a few more youngsters. Who knows? This could be it.
I am back, Brad. Sorry.
No, that's right, mate. Assuming we get relegated, which is more than likely happening, again, like I said, barring a miracle, we need to build our future around players of this caliber and of this age. So for me, I am marrying Koulibaly and keeping him here.
Yeah, I'm just off camera at the moment because I've got stuff up my nose. Patson Daka.
Unless I have to take a drink there, Chris.
Yes, I'm going to say this is thoughtful here. He's put a lot of thought into this, guys.
The thing is, unless our new manager plays 2 up front, we're never going to see Daka do well at this club. Because the only time he's ever scored goals for us is when Iheanacho or Vardy were up front with him. So for that reason, Chris, and it is literally only that reason, because we have seen glimpses of what he can do when you have a strike partner with him. But on the assumption that we're still going to play one up front and not knowing what our new manager is going to play when he comes in next season, he has to go. He's taking up the wage bill.
So he is. Oh, I put Koulibaly under the. I put Koulibaly under the avoid. Sorry, he was the marry, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Daka is the. How long has he got left on his contract, Chris?
I have no idea. Too long, I think, is probably the phrase.
If he's got 2 years, I'm gonna. I'm sorry to say. I'm gonna loan him out. I'm not saying snog. It just sounds weird.
Okay, so I'm moving him to Snog, am I?
Yeah, if he's only got a year on his contract, we'll get rid of him. But if it's 2, then maybe loan him out. Try something desperate.
Before I leave this, Paul Ince is available as well, by the way.
Oh, shut up, Chris. Just shut up.
Let me just put this in. Player contract. And then we can find out. So who are we going for? Did you say Daka?
Daka, yeah.
I can't find him at the moment. Oh, there we go. 2026. So he's got 2 years left, hasn't? No, he's got 1 year left.
Right, then avoid him. Yeah, that's
avoid him. Okay, put him back. Okay, avoid. Look, your favourite, your love child, Bobby Dakova-Reid.
He was given a 3-year contract, wasn't he?
His expires in June. All June, obviously. June 2027. That is the sound of a greater spotted Brad pooing in the Serengeti there.
Yeah. I'll keep him, but I want him as an impact sub. So I guess that technically means I'm going to have to say marry, doesn't it?
You're keeping him?
Yeah, he just offers you.
I'm sorry, Brad. I'm not having that.
Chris will be at his level, though, Chris. A bit like Winks last year. He will be at his level. And
no, his level is like tier 7.
The problem is, Chris, you're not going to like what I'm going to say about the other players that play his position. So right now, I'm keeping him and potentially trying to loan him. Then that's as good as it's getting. Meet me in the middle, Chris. That will do. We'll put him on that one.
So we're going to put him on the Snog one then.
The peck on the cheek.
There we go. Sorry about that. I've been having those leads all day. Right. El Canoes.
Marry. The easiest one I'll make tonight, I reckon.
But do you think we'll be able to? Because
I don't. No. We might get a KDH fee for him. We might double our money on him next season. But my God, please, thank you, I beg.
Would you not cash in on him? Because look, we're going to be done with PSL.
No, please, no, keep him.
But he's probably our most sellable asset.
No, keep him.
Okay, I'm just
saying.
No,
trust me. You'll understand. Because I'm going to make us money elsewhere. Won't be a lot, but sell. I love him, but I wish he wasn't so useless. I really do. I really wish he wasn't as useless and make so mistake-ridden as he is. He has to go. He has to. I'm sorry, he just does. I actually like him. I like him. I just wish he wasn't so goddamn awful at making big mistakes that keep costing us. So,
what do you like about him?
He does try, but he's like that kid. Well, I was that kid. I was that kid at Sports Day, Chris, that tried every event and tried to do everything really well, but was really crap at them all. And Wildface really tries to defend it. He
He
really
doesn't.
Yeah,
He doesn't try.
Yeah, but he does. But what I mean is, Chris, he's like, he'll go in for a slide tackle to block a shot, but he'll slide about 10 years too late or too early and miss the ball completely. And the striker goes, oh, bless him, he tried anyway. And then
when he just stands there and lets an opposition
they all stand there, Chris.
put it in the net and stand there and does that. Look, I mean, I picked that picture of him because that's his favourite pose. Not me.
Yeah, like I said, just get rid of him. I can't.
We're in agreement with that. We're in agreement with that.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the agreement with the fact that thought he was a trier. Tries my fucking patience, I'll tell you that.
He tried. Second is his option. Just keep him. He's young. He's hungry. He's going to be angry and wanting to prove a point next season, and hopefully get a shot to come straight back up and put right the wrongs of this season. Easy. I'm not cashing in on him. Not a chance. No. Who?
Exactly.
Loan. Get Snog. Loan. Give him some football. I mean, he's 18 or 19 now, maybe. So loan him.
5 million and to sit and play with himself. There we go. His contract actually runs out 2028.
Yeah, Chris. I'm going to go back to the proper terms. I'm not using the married snugger for because it just
no.
But I like the fact that that's what it's based off. I'm selling him. I want you 45 million off Chelsea for him. I want to sell him. I said I think we should sell him because bless him, he tries, but he keeps getting it wrong. But Chris hates him. Boo, Chris. Hey, Jess. Boo, Chris.
Jess. All I will say, Jess, you can do better. All right.
Hey, now then.
This man that you call boyfriend actually thinks Wildface tries. Now, if that is your idea of a boyfriend, Jeff, who am I to argue? But you can do better. Sorry, Brad.
We love Wildface, man. So you're barking up both wrong trees there, mate. So
is it what is it? I didn't realise you'd met as both part of the Wildface fan club.
We're the chairmen and chairwomen of the Wildface fan club.
You're the only two in it. That's why you met. Right, so a Manson goes in the cell, but because he is probably our most sellable. Yeah,
that's literally one of the reasons. She's right. We do take the piss out of him, but we actually, Borat, where he goes, "Yes, my wife." We actually now have a coin of phrase where we do something in sync and we'll go, Wildface. Sorry if you didn't feel bad. Everybody knows. Let me just sit there like a pair of
plums. You can't get away with anything when your girlfriend comes in the chat,
No, I really can't.
Nice to see you.
But it's a shovel. Just keep on me.
Everton.
Chuck him out.
His contract expires in June.
Yeah, let him go. Release him. He deserves better, to be honest with you. I think he got absolutely screwed over.
Sorry. Fair point, Jesse. Can't argue with that. Sorry, so Everton,
you're both be messaging me now saying sorry.
I'm getting a bit worried now. Getting a bit worried because you got rid of Hermanson, you got rid of Everson. No, I get no. I was getting confused. Right, here we go. James Justin.
Bye. See you later. Sell him. 2 million.
Wow. So next season, how well do you see us doing in the Midland Five-a-side league then?
Oh no, don't worry. Keep the faith, as our thing says, because there's some players I'm keeping.
Okay. Well, hope so. Victor Christensen.
Keep. Because he is actually a trier. Every report I read, and even the commentators last night, were saying, well, Victor Christensen at least tries. He might not have all the skill and class in the world, but at least he actually tries.
I think if we get a manager in that will say to him, play forward, attack, get the ball into the box, even if there's nobody there, it might just cause trouble.
Well, funny enough, Chris, that happened in the last 15 minutes when Mavididi and him were both on the wing. Yeah. And then he ridiculously put Thomas on for like 2.5 seconds, which is mind-blowing, but still.
I just think he's being told to come back, and I think it's ruining his game. So I agree. Somebody we've forgotten about. What's happened to Marshall?
Out on loan.
Is he? Okay. Would you keep him?
I would. Oh, for God's sake, turn it down. Oh, he's shutting the door, that's why. I thought a burst of noise, but it's because he opened the door to go in there. I knew what he's doing. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not, if that's gone too loud.
No, it's fine, mate. It's fine.
Depends how it's developed. You know what? No, sorry. On the assumption we're going to be championship, I'd keep him around and go from there. You know, championship, you know, he might as well play.
Yeah. Okay. Mavadee is all I want to say.
Yet again came off the bench and changed the game a little bit. Okay, you can't. It's not really difficult to improve on absolutely static, but actually looked somewhat threatening when he had the ball.
Yeah, no, he did. He did. Daisy. Let me. Casey McAteer.
Sell him. Really wanted him to break through this season, be that replacement for Fatawu this season, prove himself so we can maybe play people in there. But for me, he's one of our own, and I'll always love one of our own, but he reminds me of Liam Moore. Just not quite got the mustard for this division or the one below. For me, I'm selling because he's too old to loan out now. You can't keep loaning him out. I would disagree because I think I would be starting him at the moment over Ayew on the wing or over Dukov, over Reed on the wing. So, but it's all about opinions. You want to sell him, I'll put him in the selling back bracket. There we go. Indeedy. Sell him. His time's come to an end. There's the last bit of cash we're going to be able to get for him. I don't think he deserves to be playing championship again. And I think he's actually hindering our moves in the midfield.
He's got 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah, let's not do a Yuri Tillemans with him. Let's get some money in for him.
Akoli, surely he's got to stay.
Yeah, he stays. Again, rough around the edges, a young lad. I can't see many managers that, unless he puts on dodgy boots, would berate him enough to not want to play him. But yeah, keep him. Easy keep.
Yeah. Ricardo.
Sell him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a class player when he's fit, but that's a big if on the fitness department. And we can't. It's cost us this season because we were heavily relying on him staying fit. I mean, I know people say he's back in training now, but he probably won't be back.
He won't be back this season.
No, so get rid.
Yeah. Jesse says we're going to have no team left without any of them. Here we go. This is going to be trouble in the old town. Oh my God. We're going to disagree on this, but you go on. It's your moment.
When we signed his Spurs counterpart, I said I would only take him if we're in the championship. And if next season we're in the championship, I want to bolster this guy's value back up. Keep.
Oh. I'd already written in the sell column.
No, if we stay up, sell him, but we're not staying up. We'll need him in the championship. Keep him.
Okay, I'm surprised. I don't think he's as bad as you say, but look, it's all about opinions, and I will put him where you think. Put him in the skip, somebody says. Now, this is going to be interesting because, look, earlier in the season, I thought, wow, this is like getting a new player. And he's been fucking shite the last few games.
He has.
I know he's your love child, but come on.
Kate made a very good point. I felt like we went back in time to when Wilfred and Didi had to babysit Napoli's Mendy or Samare because he played two CDMs when they both played different in that role. One wants to be very forward driving, which is Samare, and the other one wants to, we need one who's going to sit in that anchor position and pass it on to him to drive forward with the rest of that midfield and not hankering back. I'm keeping him because we're going to sell Ndidi, and I think you get a better CDM out of the deal. I'm sorry.
No, I agree, and it's a point, like you said, that Kate makes. Maybe this is a Lampard-Gerrard situation. You can't play Samare and Ndidi together.
Yeah, pretty much. Sorry, but in my managerial heads are rolling. It's Ndidi out the door, and it's keep Samara.
Yeah, he's the younger option. I'm guessing because we've got no goalkeepers at the moment, you're going to keep this guy.
Yeah, I actually, Chris, and this is something interesting. I know it won't happen, and I know people are going to crucify me for saying it, but give Stolarczyk the last 11 games of the season. I would keep him. I would make him the number one.
Well, it'll have to be if we get rid of.
But you might as well make that transition now, Chris.
Yes, yeah. Gray says the manager can't play anyone together. That is very true. If we sell a Manson, and that's along with El Canoes, I think they are both our two most sellable assets, and I think Manson will go. I have no problem with Stolarczyk taking over the number one role.
Far more confident in him taking over from my current Danish number one than I ever was Danny Ward.
Well, we've got him coming up in a bit, so maybe you'll surprise us with your choice there. Luke Thomas.
This season, I wanted him to go. I did. I wanted him to either go out on loan or go permanently because he had a disaster loan period, and if he's not getting in this team, he wouldn't be good enough. However, I'm going down the route where we clear the deadwood out and make the money of 2 departures in 6 or 7, then and keep the rest of our squad together than selling Canoes and Madsen and trying to keep up with everybody. I would keep him though.
He's only got just to make your decision easier. June 2026.
Yeah, I would keep him. I would keep him and maybe then try and get him if he has a good half of the season to sign an extension. So at least then we're going to get something for him if necessary.
You know what's interesting? Not necessarily this show, but what is interesting is that do you think when we actually go and say, right, let's say Ricardo, nobody wants to pay him, maybe because of the wages he's on, right? So we're asking, I don't know, let's say we ask 5 million. Now, he's probably not worth 5 million because he's a sick note, isn't he? He's totally a sick note. So we say,
give me a minute. I'm going to have to have a word with him.
All right. So sorry, I see what you mean. So I'm going to say that. So we say, well, all right, then maybe we should loan him out, and we'd loan him out, and we get a bit of money in for him. Instead of asking 5 million, why not just say, well, all right, you can't afford his wages. What about if we only ask 2 million just to get these players off the books? That's the question. That's the thing that I would say is let's just cut our losses. Jamie Vardy. Look, I think we've all got to accept that Jamie Vardy is past his sell-by date. He's been past his best before date all season. I think he's now... that's what I'm saying, Gray. Don't take a sick note, but maybe if we'd reduce the price. What I was saying, Brad, was that if we're asking 5 and saying, well, we don't really want to pay 5 for him because, you know, he's no. So, all right, look, we'll take 2, 1.5, 2. At least it's getting his wages and getting him off our books, isn't it? You know. Now, Jamie Vardy.
Retire.
Yeah, he's got to go.
Retire.
Yeah.
It's a sad way to end his career. I can see why he wanted to, you know, let's face it, Chris. I think it was Kate or probably all of us last night, to be honest with you, made the point that he was the only one that realised his teammates had lost the fight, because last few seasons when Vardy was chasing down the goalkeeper and that he was doing that, someone would go, yes, Vards, I'm with you, I'm on it. Yesterday, none of them. They just stood there and went, nah, it's no point. I think he is one of the players that over the time has maybe been a bit of a dressing room leader in a few outs. You know, no smoke without fire. I'm not saying that it didn't come with any, it wasn't warranted or anything. So some of the seconds we're erring the side of caution on here, but there were a few managers that we lost where we heard a lot of dressing room rumbles, and Vardy's a figure in that dressing room, and he's a club legend, and he doesn't deserve his Leicester career. And I say Leicester career because he may decide he's got one more year in him somewhere else, but retire. I'm going to create a separate option for Vardy.
I put him in a void, but I have put him in brackets. So, and everybody seems to want him to be a coach. Your love child again, Vestergaard.
Sell him.
Yeah. Well, or just buy him out, to be honest with you.
Sell him, buy him out, whatever it takes. I'm sorry, but his legs are gone.
Yeah.
His brain's there, but his legs don't work, and he's in a position where you can't afford that. No. You know what I mean? If he was a holding midfielder, maybe you could say, well, he doesn't have to move around a lot in the Championship, but he needs to.
Indeed. I don't even ask about this one.
Promote the under-23 keeper and sack him. Pay him off, do whatever it takes. Don't want him anywhere near the team. Useless. Absolutely, and I will say it again, for those that do not play in the position, pipe down. I'm not naming names. I'm just saying that one of them's been on here a few times as a game presenter, right? Trying to undermine a goalkeeper when he's never played a position. He does not command his box. The players looked for him for guidance and gave him none. Get rid of him. He's easily the most useless 12 million we've ever spent. Get rid of him.
Any disagreements with us on that one? Mr. Winks.
Keep him. Proof last year he was in his division. Next year he'll be in his division.
I agree.
Well, we called him the signing of the season last season, Chris, so I'm not getting rid of him.
Yeah. No,
next year.
Back in that league, like you say. And that's it. So I'm going to go through a few that I haven't got images for now. I think with maybe a couple of players still to do. Winks key. Let's have a look who we've missed off here, if anybody. I think that is actually everybody. Needy, Winks, Alcanus, Skip, Renette, McAteer, Golding, Sumare, Mavadidi, Vardy, Fatu, Dukova, Reed, Ayud. Oh! Of course, Edward.
Pay for his taxi.
Again, he blows up at the end of the season.
Yeah, pay for his flight to America, Scandinavia, Papua New Guinea, wherever he wants to go. Just let's start a GoFundMe page, get him gone.
Yes, I agree. Mate, look, thanks very much for coming on. I think we're never going to solve anything. You know, the club is what the club is. It's secrecy. I do think we do need more transparency, and I said this to Lynn from the Foxes Trust in the earlier show. I don't think we're ever going to get it. You know, the football clubs are businesses, but they can't treat fans like, you know, customers. We are fans. We are committed to the club. And buying the odd bacon sandwich here there isn't going to make up for these performances. it needs somebody to go in. I think we know, say this, that like somebody, and I hate to say this, but like a Radcliffe at Manchester United,
Yeah.
going to go in and he's going to kick arse. Rashford at Man United wasn't pulling his weight. The manager said he's not pulling his weight, so they got him out.
Yeah, look, you know what? If someone's traipsing through this entire video and wants to cut parts out of it, I'm sure they'll skip the first probably hour and 30 minutes, to be honest with you. But if they want to take anything from this, here's our Leicester fans' honest opinion and genuine thing to the board. We love the fact, or we have for a long time loved the fact, that you're very hands-on ownerships. You know, not just with yourself, but your father before you, God rest his soul. Both of you are lovely, lovely gentlemen. And you have done above and beyond what any rich owner comes. In terms of richness, in terms of what you do for the club, the city that the club's in, you are top. Pardon the pun, you are top. You're far richer in that sense than Man City, Newcastle, Real Madrid, whatever, you know, their country and whatever. But you know what I mean? You're far richer than these big so-called financially bearing clubs. In terms of finances, we're about here in competitiveness to a lot of other clubs, right? As much as I love the fact that you've done all these lovely gestures when you first came in, and you didn't do it for a showmanship, you know, you didn't do it for 6 weeks and then go take a back seat back in Thailand and never bother with the club. Now, you've always invested money. How about I ask you this? By all means, keep investing money. By all means, keep showing love and support to the community. By all means, keep turning up at the King Power to watch us every week. Absolutely love to see that. But maybe, and I'm just saying this to protect you. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out of order. Maybe I'm bang out of line, and someone will criticise me and slate me and call me all the names on the sun for dare suggesting to offer a word of advice here when I know nothing about business. No, I don't. You're right. I don't know anything about such a horrible tragedy that you've dealt with either, Tom. I can't imagine the pain you go through every day since it happened, of losing a father and you know, and your mother losing a wife and your brother losing their father as well. I can't imagine the pain you and your family go through every day you go through, and how difficult it's been to have this transition put onto you from learning under your father's wing to now. Maybe take a step back. We love you. We appreciate you, and we love everything you've done for this club, from paying for travel, baking cobs in the morning, to giving out free travel, free drinks, and everything in between. But maybe now, even if it's just for a small period, while you keep learning your job, you keep learning and growing as a chairman, you take the weight off your shoulders, right? Instead of hiring 16 managers in 4 seasons and 30 members of backroom staff, right? And I know you can't help it if they do an Enzo on you, right? And whether that was 6 or 1/2 dozen or dozen, if they walk, they walk. But maybe we get a Chris Hughton-esque like manager who's going to commit to the job and do everything he can over the next 4 or 5 years to get us back into the Premier League. Let it run its course. And maybe you need to hire your own backroom staff. I can't tell you to get rid of Rudkin and Whelan, because I don't know actually what their jobs entail. You might actually come out one day and say they actually do a fantastic job. I'm the screw up, or so and so's the screw up, and this person's the reason. That's why it didn't work. And then fair enough. At least I know what happened. We all know what happened. But I think maybe as far as going to running the club solely, you need to pass that responsibility on to someone else. I don't think you need the stress and strain, and I think you need to become temporarily 4 or 5 years, a little bit longer maybe, or maybe just a couple of years. You need to become a backseat owner. Someone that just goes, right, let me have a look at the finances. Let's pay that into the club. Okay, season's rolled around. What does he want? He wants 40 million to spend in the window because we're off our transfer embargo. Give him 50 million. If you need anything else, ring me. But you're the man in charge. You're my second in command. That's what I'm paying you good money to do. You tell me how much he wants, and I say yes or no. I think maybe you just need to take a step back from the limelight or involve the rest of the family more, if they want to be, of course.
Well, his brother is on the board as well.
Well, there you go. So they are there. Maybe it needs to be more united. Maybe you need more family members in. Maybe you need to bring in an uncle if you've got. I'm assuming you've got one with your father. Maybe as a brother or whatever, or bring in some cousins. I'm not saying they've got a big family. I don't know, but if they've got any more business orientated members of the family, or who surely maybe even if they run the King Power side of things, they've got a business knowledge. Maybe you can transition that like you have yourselves into football knowledge. And slowly integrate yourselves, not permanently out the picture by any means. I'm not saying become a permanent backseat owner, but just take that weight that's all mounted on your shoulders over these last 4 or 5 years and just half that load onto someone or a group of people else. Just give it, I'm trying to speak to you as if you're my mate, and I know I'm not. You don't even know who I am, and you may never see this video. But if that was somebody coming to me saying, look, my head's up my arse, I don't know where I'm going, I'm all over the place, what do I do? In fact, if you, Chris, were in charge of Leicester, you're asking it, this is exactly what I'd be telling you. And that's, if there's one bit of snippet that you want to show them, or they want to pick up on, that's it.
And Brad also thanks his mother and his agent and his publicist, mate. From the heart, mate. From the heart. Thank you very much, Brad. I'm not sure when we're back again. We're doing all different things. Hey, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Guess what?
Go on, what?
We got this guy back.
Hey! Guess who's back again?
And yes, I do know down is upside down. That is meant to be. But yes, Lucky Luke or Luckless Luke, whichever way you want to look at it. 9 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be giving his version of Leicester City viewing from down under. Brad, probably Prediction League's back next week on Thursday. Hopefully you can join us for that. And then who knows, we could all start predicting Leicester losses and get some points in the Prediction League.
Well, I'm already doing that, mate. I've gone 2 5-0, and so far they've lost 4-0 and 2-0. So we're getting closer to a win, Chris. Just saying, if we half it again, we're going to get a 0-0 against Chelsea next weekend. We're not, but I can live the dream, can't I?
Yeah, you can. And you're going to have 6 or 7 days to put the league table together, which in fairness to you, I think you'll probably need with all the weeks that have gone by. But thanks very much, mate. And I will see you next week. Take care, buddy.
Take care, mate.
Take care. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
So thank you very much to Brad there. Really do appreciate it. Look, it was a rant show. I think we've had a rant. We'll do it again soon, I'm sure, if things don't get any better. Back 9 o'clock in the morning with Lucky Luke from Down Under in Australia. Will be giving us his thoughts on all those Leeds fans that have been taking the knee. It's your time. If you want to pop in and get your own back, you can do. Same channel tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and click that notification bell, and you'll never miss another episode at all. Have a good night. I'll see you in the morning. Good night now.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.